Thank you. Okay, all right, cool. Good evening again, everyone. We are looking at Jira today, creating our Jira boards today. My name is Tolu Yesufu, a certified Agile certified lead and a product owner. For today, we will look at some basic things in Jira. So there are some in-depth things that we might not go into, but the most important thing is once you get a hang of what we're going to go through tonight, trust me, you are good to go with Jira. You are good to go with Jira. So some of the things we're going to look at today is steps to creating your Jira board. We'll walk through the some of the navigation menu on your Jira board. Creating epics, creating stories, show you how to create the bugs. On Jira, we call all of these issues. They are all issues. Your epic is an issue, your story is an issue, your bug is an issue, your task is an issue. They are all classified under the umbrella of being called an issue. We will look at configuring the issues, and then we'll look at configuring your board as well. I know that you've already, within your Sprint Zero, you're already configuring your board for Azure DevOps, your Azure DevOps boards already. Your Jira board, again, it's very similar to what the Azure DevOps board is being used for. Different organizations, being held by different organizations, similar in usage, different. There might be one or two features on there that Azure DevOps might have that Jira maybe doesn't have, that you have to pay for, or Jira has Azure DevOps doesn't have. But the one thing is that aligns them together is that they are both project management software tools. So just like your Azure DevOps board, the Jira is also a project management software tool, and it's used for multiple purposes that allows teams to plan, track, manage basic software development tasks, and automate workflows. So for everything you use your Azure DevOps for, where you create your epics, your stories, you create your board, you configure your board, you're tracking the progress of work that is being done on your Azure DevOps boards, just look at that as one thing, something that you use your Jira for as well. It's just been held, Azure DevOps is Microsoft and Jira is Atlassian. So two different organizations, but they are both used for the same purpose. Now, the next slide, this slide is, it's got the steps in creating your free Jira account. So these are the steps that we will follow today to get us to that point where we create our Jira account, and then we're able to then log into Jira and then create our different boards, create a project, create your board, configure your board. We'll look at creating the stories, creating the epics, configuring each of the tickets and all of that. So these are just the steps that you would follow to get to that point where you're actually able to access your board. Now, in saying that, I would now want to ask, like I said, it's going to be more practical than theoretical this evening. I can share my screen. Actually, let me share screen again and just, I've already created, I've got Jira accounts that I've created for purpose of this session. So what we can do is once we've gone through your session and we've helped to navigate you through creating your board, once we're in the board, then I would share my screen again and I would use my Jira board to walk us through the creation of the epics. As you can see, I've created some epics here, some stories here. I will just walk you through how to create your epics, how to create your stories, how to link your stories to your epics, how to assign your stories, the story pointing of your stories, and this left sidebar navigation bar as well. Sorry, the navigation bar on the left side there, I would walk us through as well. So we will come back to my board, but do I have a volunteer to share screen and we can use your board, your screen to create a Jira board?
I don't mind.
Oh, someone started sharing already. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, cool. That's fine. All right.
That person's first.
Yeah. Who is sharing so that at least I can refer to you by your first name? I think it's something Julius. Whose screen are we looking at? Okay.
The screen is for Julius Adeniji.
Okay. Hi, Julius.
But that was Chancey, She has been clamoring.
Okay,
I don't know who it was, but she has been clamoring to do it.
I'm actually going to need whoever is going to share their screen. I'm actually going to need the person to be able to speak in case I need the person to answer some questions or, interact. I need someone that would share the screen and is able to interact. So if Julius is not able to interact, is someone else okay to share the screen, please?
I can.
Okay, go ahead, please.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Share.
She cannot share until Julius stops sharing. Julius, do you want
to? Oh, okay.
Share?
I think that's why, because it's not going.
But Julius, why are you not able to talk? Do you want to type a message so we can know?
Sorry, I can actually view Debbie's screen from here.
Okay, Debbie, are you sure?
Debbie just started sharing. Yes, Debbie just started sharing. It was Julius before.
But Debbie's screen, the one showing Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the one showing Zoom.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Debbie. Debbie, do you want to go on your do you want to go on Google, please? Comfort,
Google.
you have your hands up. Comfort? Okay, am I the one that can't hear people speaking or okay? All right, so if you just go on Jira, please, for me and Debbie. So for everyone else on the call, please, you can follow the steps as well that we are following right now. You can also follow the same steps in creating your account as well.
So should I go Jira online course?
No, you're not looking for Jira online course. Go in your search bar and go on Jira, www.jira. See.
Okay.
Brings it up for you.
Jiratext.com or just Jira?
Yeah, just do your Jira, normal Jira.com. Okay. All right, cool. So what we need is we need so if you scroll down a little bit and click on the one you have, Jira issues and project tracking software. Let's look at that one. Okay, click on get it free. Okay, now what you want to do is you want to use your email. You can put your email in there. So you use your email. You can check that box if you want. Otherwise, just click on sign up.
That'll be nice. Okay.
Okay.
So
once you get to this point, if anybody's at this point, what you need to do is go into your email. There should be a link that has been sent to your email.
Okay.
So if you're able to, please follow these steps as well. The email that you just used, if you go in your email, and there should be an email, a link in there.
Yes, verify my email.
Okay. All right. Now put in the same, put in your name, and then you create a password. Create a password you know you can't remember. No, we don't need to see your password.
I know, I'm just checking to see if it's what I want to type. How many does it want? 8 character? Yeah, put in 8.
Sign up.
Let Microsoft Edge check your password. Yes, so they can remember.
That's your decision to
Yeah.
take, not mine.
I've done that.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So so at this point now, it's going to ask you, you would see a couple of pop-ups coming up with questions. You can skip, you can answer. So it's saying, what type of team do you work in? So you can just say software development. You can click that one, and it brings up another one. What's your role? What's your role? QA. Yeah.
QA.
Yeah. You can choose.
Is it QA
whichever
engineer?
one. Whichever one. So what are your main tasks? So you can check as many boxes on there as you want, or you can skip. It's up to you.
Speak down.
Okay, so let it load. All right. So we're at this point now that it's asking us, select a template for your project. So it's giving us 3 templates now: a Kanban template, a Scrum template, and the business template. Now let's see what we have with Scrum. So it's telling you that, the popular template, the popular one being used is Kanban. So sometimes when you see sometimes those selections that you selected at the start now that we've just gone through, it helps to give the system, it gives the system that how
to configure it.
Yeah, it just brings that up to say, okay, this is more popular for the sort of thing that you do, kind of, yeah? So it doesn't matter if it says that's the popular one, guys. You can decide to go for whichever one you want to go for. It doesn't mean that because it said that's the popular one, then you go for that one. It's up to you. You make your choice based on the projects that you're working on. So if you've clicked on that, then you can click on next. Okay, so it's saying create projects. So it wants you to put your project name. Olawumi, are we using Blue Sky 2023?
I think it's
you can go ahead and use Blue Sky 2023J.
Okay, Blue Sky 2023J. So Blue Sky, the S is usually with a capital S. Okay, so now what you're seeing there is 2023. No, 1 second.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's 00.
Okay, all right. Now it's telling you now you've created your project name. Before you click on anything else, just wait. And it's saying more templates. Now we've chosen Scrum as our template. If you decide that you want to change your mind here and you want to choose Kanban or the business template, you can still do that by clicking on more templates, and it will bring you those other templates and bring up those other templates, and then you can select any one you want to select. But in this instance, if we're still going for Scrum, just click on create project. So now you can skip this. It's just asking you that you should select some tools that you might want to use, connect to your Jira later on, but it's fine to skip this part. And you have your board created. Okay. Any questions from anyone? Did we lose anyone in the process? Did we go too far? Or has anyone,
I think it was a bit too far.
Yeah, you went
got
too
lost.
far.
Yes,
I
beginning.
can't find the Scrum.
Okay,
I can't
all
find
right.
the Scrum.
Okay,
It's recorded.
It's recorded, exactly. It's recorded, guys, so you can watch it back. But did anyone follow us up till this point?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay, so we have a couple of people that has followed us up to this point. All right. In order not to waste time, it's recorded. So for those that are not yet at this point, I think, okay, so show of hands, the first person to show their hand, I'll get you to share your screen if you're not yet at this point. Let's quickly walk you through slowly. Okay, Adesheye. So Debbie, if you could stop sharing, please. And just
okay.
Yeah,
when
just
it says take a tour, do I need to take a tour? Just explore myself.
Explore yourself so you can explore later. Or if you take it on, it's just
Okay.
going to walk you through. Yeah. All right. So Adeshaya, you had your hands up first. So do you want to share your screen and show us where you're at? And then after that, everyone else, please follow the steps now. I will try and go as slowly as possible. And if you still missed a step, then please watch the recording back so that we can move on to actually working on the board. Adeshaya, do you have a question or do you want to share your screen?
Hi, good evening. Yeah, I'm trying to share my screen. Just 1 second, please.
Okay. Sorry, Sadiq. Adeshaya's hand was up first. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So your screen is up. Okay. So you entered your email, you entered your name, you created the password. You got an email, a link in your email? Adeshaya.
I'm just gonna check my email. Just 1 second, please.
Have you created a Jira account before?
No. I'm just following the same process that you did, but I got on this page and I got stuck.
Click on create account.
Create account.
Okay, so you do have a Jira account. It's just saying that you have a Jira account. Welcome back, Ademiji.
Okay, so what do I do here?
So do you okay, no, 1 second. No, I think okay, I see where you're at now, Adeshaya. So what you can do, what you'll do here now is when it says your site, in that text box that says your site, what do you want your domain to be called? So you can use your name if you want.
Okay.
You can just call it Adeshaya. If it's been taken, it will tell you. If it's available, okay, agree, yeah. Okay, so you're at this point now as well. So you can skip these questions or you can respond if you want to, so that you can stop sharing your screen and you can quickly respond to the person who is a bit worried about you not picking a call.
Thank you.
No worries. So once you skip through those questions or you answer those questions, then you would be asked to then create your project name. Just put your project name as Blue Sky 2023J. Once you've created and you can choose Scrum as well as your template. And then once you put your project name, just click on create project. Okay. All right. So, hi, Albert.
Yeah, sorry, but I couldn't see template. I've been able to create a project name, but I didn't see template. So I hope that won't really affect me too much. I'm sorry, I'm using my phone for Discord, but I'm working on it right away on my system. But I didn't see template for Scrum, but I created my project name. So I hope I'm not so lost, but I'll be following the process. I just wanted to say that I didn't see the Scrum template on mine, but I was able to create
you would usually get the option to select a template. So for you to create the project, so what are you seeing on your screen now?
Well, I wrote my own project as health improvement, summary, board, list, calendar, timeline.
Sorry, Albert, can you share your screen for 1 second, please? Well, for 1 minute, please.
I'm using my phone for this call, and I'm using my system. So,
all right, no, that's
the best
fine.
I can do is to do a video, turn on my video.
No, it's okay. All right, no, it's fine. It's fine. You can turn your video on. That's fine. Watch the recording back, or what we can do is once we come to the end of the call, then I can take questions and then I can come back to you. But you would need to remind me at the end of the call, Albert, to say that, I want to check that's if you're still stuck. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I'll be following and I'm sure I'll get it.
All right. No worries. You're welcome. Okay. I'm going to share my screen again and I'm going to go on the board. All right. So for those that has gotten to the point where you're actually seeing a board, what you would see is you will not see all of this on your board. You would see a blank backlog. Now, I'll walk you through this very quickly. If you've gone on your Azure DevOps on the Azure DevOps, you have a left side navigation bar where you have your backlog, board, your all those different menus you have on that left panel. Now on Jira, this is also your backlog. And this is your backlog view on Jira. On Jira, your sprint board, the sprint board you have on Azure DevOps, it is called Active Sprint on Jira. Now, you wouldn't see anything on the Active Sprint now because I haven't actually committed any tickets into Sprint. But it's called Active Sprint in Jira. And that is where you have your to-do in progress and all of that. But I will show you how to configure this as well. Once you're in your backlog and you have this view and it's blank because you wouldn't have anything on there because you wouldn't, it's a new board you've just created. So you don't have any epics, you don't have any stories yet, it will be blank. Now, if you have this similar view, you will have something here that says versions, epics. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to create epics first. Yeah, so always remember that there's a layer to it. On your Azure DevOps, you have your epics, your features, your stories. On Jira as well, you have your epics, you have your stories. So we don't really have that level of epics, features, stories. We have epics, we have stories, we have bugs, we have tasks on Jira. Now, this is a free version. If it's a company's version, like an organization's Jira board, they will obviously not use the free version because it will be used for a lot of projects. So they will most likely use a paid version where you would have more features. Yeah, because then they can pay for more features on their Jira board. And in that way, there are ways that you can actually, and we won't go into all of that, but there are ways that you can actually even create issues that are called your risk issues. You can create then your issues, dependencies, and all of that, but we won't go to all of that. We'll just do the basic stuff. Don't let me confuse you. Now, to create an epic on Jira, all you need to do is come to where you have epic on this panel here and click on epic. When you click on that epic menu, it opens up this bar for you. Now, because you've just created a new board, you would not have anything here. It would be blank. Whatever is here now, you won't see it on your board once you open the epic panel. But you would have this, you should have this, create epic. Now, when you click on create epic, it opens up a panel, a pop-up panel on your screen. Yeah? Remember I said on Jira, epic, stories, bugs, issues, epic, story, bugs, tasks, they all fall under the umbrella of issues. We call them issues. And please, can we be muted if we're not speaking for the purpose of recording? Thank you. So you would usually see issue type. So it's asking you what type of issue do you want to create. Allow me, please, can you help mute? There's someone on mute that is not muted.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
So, hello.
Sorry, I was lost for a bit. How do we get to the create epic?
Okay, I'm going to try and go as slowly as I can now so that I don't lose too many people. Sorry, I tend to talk a bit fast. Okay. Once you have your board created, go on your backlog. You will have your backlog. This is your backlog view. But because your board is a new board, you will not have all of this there. So ignore all the stories. Just assume this is not there. You would have a blank board. You will have a blank board. You might probably see something like this, that no stories or no active something, but it will be blank. You won't have all of this there. Now, what we want to do is to start populating our backlog. To start putting stories in our backlog, we need to create our epic first. To create your epic, you would have the options on this side, on this panel. You would see your epics option on this panel. Click on it and it would open up this this bar for you. Now, when it opens this up, you would not have anything here. You're only seeing this here because I've already created epics in the last session that I had with the previous instance. So you wouldn't see anything here on a fresh board that you've just created. But what you should see is the option to create epic. And that is what you want to click on. That's what you want to select to create your epic. So I'm going to click on that and it would give me a pop-up screen like this. It would open up a pop-up screen for me. And that's how I got to this point. Are we okay with that? I'm not sure who asked the question.
Yes, so far so
Okay.
good. But
Thank
sorry, mine is showing epic name. I should also put epic name below the above the
it wasn't-
summary on my screen.
Same as mine. It's showing epic name.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Just
We'll come.
above the summary.
Let's create the epic first. Then I will come and ask. I'll come and take questions. Yeah. So when you get to your epic view, your pop-up, when you have your pop-up on the screen, because I said create epic, it's giving me the issue type to say, what do you want to create? You want to create an epic? Yes, I want to create an epic. Let's assume that I made a mistake and it's a story I want to create and not an epic. I can change the issue type here by clicking on this drop down, and it would give me the option to change the issue type to a story because that's what I want to create. But maybe I accidentally clicked on create epic, but I didn't accidentally do that. So in this instance, I actually want to create an epic. Now it's saying that this is mandatory. So you would see you have your red asterisk there that says it's required. Now what is required? It's asking me for a summary of the epic that I want to create. Yeah, so I'm going to give that epic that I want to create, I'm going to put the name of that epic there. So I'm going to say that I want to create an epic for, let's say I want to create an epic for, payment, let me just say payment platform. Yeah, just for the purpose of this session. And then I'll click on create. Yeah, now that payment platform epic has automatically been created for me on here. Yeah, that is my epic. Let me come and take questions very quickly. Abidemi.
Yes, thank you so much for the guidance so far. But here, just like I think Albert was saying, when I click on what I see on my own board here is create epic, and it's like it has a plus sign. When I click on it, it just says
Okay. Share your screen, please.
Yes, I'll do that.
So for anyone else who, once Abidemi shares his screen, anyone else who has a similar view on your screen, please just follow whatever it is we do on Abidemi's.
Just looking for the exact 15 more. All right, so
okay.
Let me just expand this. All right, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was just following you, like that's why I typed payment platform in here. So, but if I come out of here, this is how it is. It shows this way. And when I say create epic, you say, what will the epic be called? So I say payment platform.
Yeah.
And enter.
That's it, you've created your epic.
Okay, so it's just the interface looks a bit different. Maybe it's the versions or something. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, exactly. So like when the last session that we did for Jira, I didn't get anyone to share their screen. So I actually created the Jira board myself, sharing my screen, and I created this version, this view you have, and the view that I was showing earlier on. Okay. So I was able to show the guys on the call what each view looks like and how to navigate each of the views.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
if you have the same view as Abidemi right now, that is how you create your epic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
You're welcome. So you can stop sharing now, Abidemi.
All right.
Any
Thank
other
you.
question? Anyone else talk? We can't unblock everyone on the call, but any other question? No. Okay. So I'll go back to sharing my screen. Okay. All right. So the view that you just showed us now that you have, Abidemi.
Yes.
This view that is coming up on my screen now. This view.
Yes.
You see, it's this
Yeah.
view. That's
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
You're still on your Jira board. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, cool. So I'll go back to this view. So that's how you create your epics. Now, let us create another epic. I'm going to go back on create epic. And this time around, I'm going to call this epic. So let's say we're carrying out some sort of discovery work, for example. Let's say we're carrying out some sort of discovery work. So I'm going to call this epic discovery. Let me just call discovery click logic. Back end analysis. Yeah, forget about the name. Don't stress yourself too much about that. That's what I want to call this epic. Now I've named my epic, but then I just remembered that, oh, actually, I want to create another epic. So instead of me clicking on create, which would take me out of this view, and then I have to click on create epic again to come back to this view to create the other epic, rather than do that, if I want to create 5 epics together whilst on this view before coming out, so I don't have to keep going out and coming in, keep going out and coming in. All I need to do is I would put the epic name, I would check this box here to say I want to create another issue immediately after this one without coming out of this view. I'll check that box. I've put the title of this epic here. I'll click on create. Now what it will do is one issue created. It will create that epic for me, but it would not bring me out of this box. It's left, the system has left me here because I said I still want to create more issues before I come out of here. So now I will create another epic. And I'll call that epic, let me call that epic architecture. Oh, sorry. Okay. Architecture design. Now I've created another epic, but I don't have any other epic in mind right now that I want to create. So I would uncheck that box and then I'll click on create. It would create those 2 epics for me without even coming out of that view that I just came out from. So you have your discovery click logic backend analysis and you have your architecture design epic as well. So that's how to create your epic from your backlog and also create multiple epics from your backlog without leaving the epics pop-up screen. Yeah? Okay, so we've created our epics. Now let's create our stories. There is
sorry, Tolu.
Yeah.
When I was doing, when you wanted to create the second epic, I don't have the what is it called, option for me to create the second one.
Do you have the same view as me, or you have the same view as the other view?
I think I have the same view as the guy that just finished speaking.
Okay, all right, cool. So this is the view that you have, yeah? So I want to create another epic, and I want to call this my architecture design. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I click on enter. I'm still on the same page here. So you will still, you're not leaving the space. You're just, because it didn't bring up that pop-up screen, you're still here. So you can just continue. It's not like the reason I did what I did on that other screen was because if I had stayed on here, yeah, and I click on create epic, and I put the epic as, let me just put let me just put an epic for I'm just going to use this as an example. And I click on create. It will take me out of this box and create my epic, but I still want to create another epic. So now I have to go back on create epic again to create it. Imagine if I want to create 10 epics. That means I have to keep coming out and going back and clicking at create epic again. Come out, click on create epic again. That's why I said, if you have multiple epics to create and you have this view, put your epic title in there, click on create another issue, and then just create all the epics you want to create at that point in time without leaving this box. In your case, the view that you have, it's not taking you in and out of any pop-up box.
No.
Do you get what I mean? So all you have to do is just put your epic in there, click enter. It gives you this box again, put your epic, click enter. And once you're done, just click out, just click out. Yeah, I'm done creating epics. Just click outside the panel, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know where it says epic, I have to like turn it on.
Yeah, there's a toggle bar there. It's just like I can't remember who it was. There's a toggle bar there.
Yeah, there.
So if you turn it off, it just closes that view for you. So if you want to open up your backlog this way, without the epic panel, taking so much space, you're not creating an epic. You just want to work in your backlog on your stories. You can close that. You can close that panel up, and if you need your epic panel, you can open it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Albert, please. So once we start
Yes,
creating stories, I might actually leave questions till the end of the call because of the recording as well, so that we have a smooth flow of creating the Jira board, and all the issues we want to create. We'll have a smooth flow of that process, and then we'll take questions at the end. So for now, Albert, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to ask, mine keeps showing, I said it shows epic name, which is compulsory, then summary below, which is compulsory. And what I did was to fill in an epic name and fill in a summary. I followed the say it got created, but all of a sudden I'm confused in that. Is epic name different from summary? Because it shows epic name, which shows on my own screen and showed on Abidemi's screen, is different from summary. So that was which is not showing on your own screen when you try to create it. So I don't know if it's now duplicating the effort, or that would now affect when we are doing other stories, if that would affect.
No, sorry,
Or
it's
do I
not
name the
duplicating
epic name and this?
It's not duplicating the effort. So what you're probably saying is you're being asked for the epic name. So if you put, for example, you have your epic name as registration, you put your epic name in as registration. If it's asking you for a summary, then that means it's asking you for a summary of what that epic, give us a summary of what this epic is about.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? So once we go into, and please, if you're creating an epic as well, please make sure that your issue type is on epic. If you go on to create and it's on story, but what you want to create is an epic, change it to epic. So just be mindful of that. Yeah, and you will see what I mean when we come to the creation of stories in a minute now. Yeah, okay. All right, guys, if you have questions, please note your questions down. We'll take questions at the end, because I'm going to sort of like go through the creation of stories, configuring your tickets, configuring your board on Jira, and a few more stuff. Then we'll take questions. Okay. All right. So we've created our epics. So I've created, I think I've created about 3 epics now. Gallery, architecture, design, and I've created a discovery, take logic, backend analysis epic. All right, cool. So now we want to create stories. So for the stories now, let's say that we want to create a story under the discovery epic. Yeah. Now, what you can do, there are different ways you can create your stories, but then sometimes there's a more efficient way to create the stories. Sometimes you would find that people would go in the backlog. They would sometimes not be bothered creating the epic in the stories within the epic that the story is meant to be in. But what then happens is it's double work, double job for you, because then you will create your story and then you still have to come back and link it up. So let's say, for example, I want to create a story and I'm not linking that story to my epic. Some people will come in the backlog and they just click on create issue and they start to create their stories in the backlog. Yeah. So let's say, for example, I'm saying I'm creating a story and I'm saying identify number of sheets. Number of pages in the dashboard, for example. Yeah, and I click enter. Now I've created the story in the backlog. But what's happened now is that story is not linked to any epic yet. That's one way to create your story, but it's not an efficient way. So what you would then need to do is, because for every story you create, you need to make sure that your story is linked to an epic. Yeah, if you create a story, make sure your story is linked to an epic. So now I've created a story in the backlog. So I need to now come back and link it to an epic. And it's meant to be under this epic that says discovery click logic. So what you can do is 2 ways you can link your story to your epic. You can hover on the story, hold down, click down on it, and drag it. And then you drop it. Drag it into that epic. You would see a green box come up. You drop it, it would automatically assign it to the epic for you. The other way some people do it, and then I will now show you the efficient way to do it, best practice to do it without being lazy. The other way that people do it is, I've got a story here that says social media links. You would see that it's not linked to any epic as well. Now, let's say I want to now link it to an epic and I'm not dragging and dropping. You can open that story up and you should have an epic link menu option here. Yeah. Now, if I click in there, it would give me a drop-down list of all the epics that has been created on my board. Then all I have to do is just scroll down and look for the epic I want to link that story with and click on it, footer. It would automatically link that epic to that story, link that story to that epic for me. Now, what's the way that I prefer, that I call best practice, is rather than you creating your stories here, and then imagine creating 15 stories now in the backlog, then you have to start dragging and dropping. You have to keep opening them up to link them to an epic. There's a better, more efficient way to do that. And what's the better way to do it? The most efficient way to do it is come into the epic, open your epic up. Yeah. You have this option here that says create issue in epic. Click on that option and then you would have it would bring up this pop-up box again for you. Now, because I've said create issue in epic, it's giving me story. What if what I want to create is a bug? Or what if what I want to create is a task? I have the option, the drop-down option here again to change that to either the task or bug, whatever I want to create. Because by default, I've clicked on that link. By default, it's telling me create a story. But I may not want to create a story. I might want to create a task or a bug. So then I need to change it to a task or a bug. So let's just be mindful of that. So now we want to create a story within this epic. Yeah. What you would have is it's asking me for the summary. So I can say, let me just say initial backend analysis. Yeah, let me just say initial backend analysis. Yeah, so I've put that in there. Now I'll come to the description. Yeah, I'll come to the description, and in my description, this is where you would find people would usually put like the user story and the acceptance criteria. So we'll come to that in a minute. Now, just like your epic as well, you can, if you want to create multiple stories at once under the same epic, yeah, you can do that by selecting create another issue. And the same thing would happen. Create another issue, you click on create, it still leaves you on the same page for you to create more stories, as many as you want to create. Yeah. So I'm going to create that. And you will see that without me actually dragging and dropping, without me opening the ticket to link it to an epic, because I created the epic within the issue itself, it would automatically just assign it to that epic. That's how I prefer, because once I click on this and I want to create 5 issues, 5 stories under this epic, all I have to do is stay in here, create all my 5 stories, click on create, and it will just automatically create. It will automatically create all those stories for me and link them to that epic. So I don't have to do any drag and dropping or any opening of tickets to now physically, manually link the story to the epic. That's how we create our stories. Yeah, and make sure that it's linked to the right epic. Okay, now I'm going to open up this story. So you would see that on Jira, if I want to work on the backlog, maybe as a BA or maybe you're a Scrum Master, you're working in the backlog to create stories for your team, or your QA developer creating your story. I can stay on one view here and do everything I want to do. So even if I have my epic panel opened, this is my epic panel. This is my backlog with my stories in my backlog. But I want to start working on one of these tickets. I want to put my story in and my acceptance criteria in there and all of that. If I open up this ticket, it would open up the ticket next to this bar for me. So you have a view of everything that you're working on. Personally, it's good, but I just need more space for my work. So I would usually just close stuff up, to be honest. So even though I've closed the epic panel up, I still have these 2 views, but I need more space for my work. So if you want to open the ticket up properly, this is your ticket here. This is the ticket link here. You can just click on it and it will open that story up for you properly to work on in a full view. Yeah. Now let's go through this one after the other. 1 second, I see there's a hand up. Mark, please.
I think this view you are using to teach us is quite different from the other view, and I think we're not getting it like the way you're doing it here.
All right, let me go on there. This is what you have, right?
Yeah.
Mark, this is what you have, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So Mark, at what point is it the creation of stories?
The creation of stories. Creation of stories, yeah.
That's where you're stuck. So yes. It's the same thing. So I created a story from the backlog using create issue. So I have my create issue here.
Okay.
One second, bear with me. All right, I have my create issue there and I have my create issue here. Do you get what I mean? So you will get the same thing. So you would need to just do the exact thing that I did. So if I click on create issue here now, let me click on create issue. So I want to create an issue now. I'm creating from the backlog, which I said I don't usually advise people to do because then you have manual processes to follow after that by linking it up, dragging and dropping. So if I want to create a story now here in the backlog, and I give my story, let me just say I give my story, let me just use basket, for example. Yeah, I put the story in there, I click enter. It creates that story for me, right? Now, I need to link this story to an epic, and I want to link it to landing page, for example. Do you get what I mean? I can drag and drop it.
Okay.
Yeah, and it would link it to an app to landing page for me.
Okay.
The same thing that I just did now. Now, if I want to open, if for me, I would usually say just open that epic up and create your issues in the epic. Now, for the view, for this view that you have, what you probably do is open up your epic, which is view all details, and you can create your child issue from there. You can create your stories in there as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I tried that. It worked for me. I just clicked on the issues, the like payment platform on this site, and then I now created the issue. So it just automatically linked it to payment platform.
It would just automatically link it to the payment to your Epic if you create it inside. Do you get what I mean? So if you open up, if you have this view, you click on the Epic to open the Epic up. This is it. It's opened it up. So I want to create a story. I want to create an issue, a child under this Epic, just like I did under the other Epic. What you have here, you have add a child issue. So if you have this view, add a child issue. Click on add a child issue. It will just ask you what's the story you want to create here. So the story I want to create here now, for example, let's say it's social, under this Epic, social media. Yeah, and I click on create. It would create that story for me, automatically linking it up to that Epic. If you have this view, any questions? Okay. All right, cool. All right, thanks, guys. So please, let me, if you have any questions, I would, okay, Abidemi, please.
Yeah, sorry. But a quick question. I noticed that, now I've created two epics, right? I just one, the payment platform, another one, discovery. I just followed you. Now, when I click on the second one, all right, and I say create issue, all right, the drop down menu is showing me bug and task.
Okay, share your screen for 1 second, Abidemi, please.
Sorry. Oh, okay. I've seen the story.
Yes. Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay.
I've seen the story.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to take us back. Sorry.
No worries. It's okay. So if you're following the process, I want to believe that you've created epics, your epic, you've been able to create your story, and you've been able to link a story to the right epic. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Now you've created your story. Let me open up one of the stories now. So in your story, you have your description box in there. In your description box, you can always put your story there as I want to show that. Yeah. And then you can have your acceptance criteria. You can have your acceptance criteria in there and say, given that when I then I should put your acceptance criteria in there. Now, once you're done, you click on save. You would have your story and your acceptance criteria written in your, you have your user story and acceptance criteria in your story. Yeah. The same way, if I'm working on this ticket and I want to maybe tag a team member or tag my Scrum Master that I'm blocked on the ticket, or tag a developer or tag a QA, all I have to do is I can come inside the comment, like I just click in the comment box, and I can just put the person's name. Now, if you have 15, 10, 9, 10 people on your team, once you click and you put and you type and you enter your art, it would bring up the list of all your team members that have been registered on that board. And then you can select the person that you want to tag in that comment. Yeah. So you can just say, Victoria, I would need some help on blocking data issues for this ticket, something like that. Yeah. And that person will receive, and then you click on save, that person will receive an email notification to say that they've been tagged in that ticket. Yeah. Now, when you're doing your, so again, when you want to assign a ticket, so if you're creating a ticket, you're the one creating that ticket, automatically you will be assigned as the reporter of that ticket because you're the one creating it. So by default, your name will come up as the reporter. That is the creator of that ticket. But I've created this ticket, and I think maybe let's say Olawumi is picking it up for to work on it. You know, we're doing sprint planning. It's been assigned to Olawumi. I'm not the one working on it, even though I created it as a BA. Then this is where you would get it assigned. You can assign it to whoever is working on it from here. Once you click on assigned, you would have that drop down of your team members. And if you don't, then you would usually do anyway. But if you start typing the person's name, yeah, it would come up. And then you would just select the person and assign that ticket to the person. Once that ticket has been assigned to the person's name would appear on that ticket. So on that ticket, you would have your ticket title, your epic, the title of the epic that has been linked to, and the name of the person that the ticket has been assigned to work on it. Yeah. Now, just like during our sprint planning, we estimate our stories. You know, I know you're just going into sprint 1, but you would get to understand what this means if you don't already. This is where you would usually put your story point estimation. So if this ticket has been estimated as a 3, you can just click inside and put your 3 inside, type your 3 inside, and click on that check icon there to save that. Yeah, or you can use your arrows. Yeah, and click on that check sign, and that story point estimation will be would automatically reflect on that story. Yeah, so you have your story, your story title, the epic that the story is linked to, the name of the team member that is speaking of that story, the ticket number, and then you have your story point. This other one you have there, if I open this up now, these are just like priorities. So if you scroll down on your ticket, you would see you have a priority option here. Yeah, on there you would have high, highest, low, lowest. In fact, there are some that you would have critical as well. So you can use that to just prioritize that story. In this instance, we're saying major, you can change it to a highest priority, you can change it to low, you can change it to critical. If you have critical on there, you can change it to critical, and that will reflect on that ticket as well. And that also then would help you even during the backlog refinements when you're prioritizing your tickets during backlog refinements. That would also help, you know, with the priorities as well. Yeah. Any question? Same thing if I go on this view for the benefit of those that are on this view. We've created our epic here as well. We've got architectural design that we created as an epic. We've got our stories. We created the stories. We linked our stories to the epic. Now, what we haven't done is we haven't assigned. So the same thing, you'll have a description box here where once you click inside the description box, again, you can put your story as I want to show that, yeah? And then you can have your AC, and you can have your given when then as well in there, and then save. And the same thing applies to this as well. You can click on assign, and then assign to the person that is picking it up. We haven't started the sprint yet, so it wouldn't be assigned to any sprint for now. Your story point estimation, again, you click in this checkbox. Same thing, put your story point in there. Once the team has agreed on the story point for that ticket, check that box, and you should have everything showing on the, oh, 1 second. Everything showing on the ticket. And the same thing as well, if you want to add a comment in here, tag the person, and then pop your comment in there and save it. Yeah. Okay. Any question? Let me see if I have hands up. Okay. All right. No hands up. All right. Cool. So that is, we've been able to create Jira accounts. We've been able to create our projects. We've been able to create epics, create our stories, and we've been able to assign stories to Epic, assign stories to team members picking it up, our story points in there, and also creation of where you write your stories and all of that, and priorities. If you want to create, what's it called now? Let's create a bug. So I want to create a bug, and I click in create issue. Let me click out, create issue. It's the same process. The only thing is what I'm creating now is a bug. So I need to change that view to bug. And then I can put the title of the bug in there. But again, what happens is you would then need to now link that bug to whatever epic that you're creating that bug for. Otherwise, alternatively, just go through the same process where you create your issue within your epic. Yeah. Now on Jira, when you create your epics, you have this color icons here. Yeah. If you feel like, oh, I've got a lot of reds on there and you want to change the color, just click on that color icon here. It would open up this panel for you, and you can decide to choose any color for your epic and change that epic to whatever color you want to change it to, up to you. Again, under your epic panel as well, I'm going to use this epic again. You've got issues, you've got completed, unestimated, and estimate. Now, what this means is that, like I said, in Jira, when you see issues, it could be a story, it could be an epic, it could be a task, it could be a bug. So under this one epic, right now I've created 2 stories under this epic, but it's telling me 2 issues. Yeah, that's what it will tell you. It's when you open it up or when you look on the backlog, that's when you will know that, oh, it's just 2 stories. If under this epic, I've got these 2 stories, and then I've created a bug, I've created a task, it would show me that I've got 4 issues. It would not necessarily tell me two stories, 1 bug, 1 task. It would say 4 issues. Now, out of those issues that has been created, none has been completed. That's why you're saying 0. And it won't be completed because we haven't committed it into sprint anyway. If I've completed 1 of these issues within the sprint, it would tell me 3 issues created, 1 completed. Yeah. Now, what it's showing me here now is it's saying unestimated. So it's telling me now that out of these 2 issues I've got here, 1 of them hasn't been estimated yet. And that is true, because if you look at the stories with this epic, with the discovery click logic epic, this one has been estimated as a 3, the other one has not been estimated yet. So what it's giving me here in summary is a true reflection of the status of every issue that I have created under this epic. So it's telling me I have 1 of the issues not estimated, and I have 1 estimated as a 3 story points. That's basically what you have, what this is telling you. Yeah, that's basically what that is telling you. Okay, that is that with creation of stories, epics, and all of that, and how you work within your epic tickets. Sorry, your story tickets. Any question before we move into starting a sprint, configuring your board, and all of that?
Hello.
Hi.
I just want to ask, how do you know what you want to create?
For you to create an epic or even start creating your stories, the BAs would have gone ahead to gather requirements. It's from the requirements that has been gathered. That's where you now start to create all of these things.
You know, this blah, 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 discovery, Q link, and all of that. Would those words come like, how do we know what to write there?
Okay, I'm not sure if this is the session for that, but I would just explain very quickly.
Okay.
If you have a project and you know that you have a discovery stage that you have to go through, yeah, you have to do some discovery work, initial discovery work on that project, then you know that you would create an epic for that discovery work that you want to do. So it could be discovery on the back end side of the whatever it is, the product or whatever it is you're going to be working on. It could be discovery on the front end side of things. So every activity that will be carried out within that discovery phase, you want to create stories for them, and those stories you want to link them to an epic, and that epic is what we've created as discovery. So forget about, don't let me confuse you with whatever epic has been created there. That is why I use similar epics that you would be familiar with at the top here. So you have a website you want to work on now, and you've been given requirements to say that, oh, we want a header. The header must have about us, sign in, log in. You want all of that menu on the header. Then the BS creates an epic and calls that epic maybe landing page or header. And then they will put in a story for each of those different functionalities that has been requested for during the requirement elicitation for header. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that helps. And I want to ask, this board, everyone under IT has to create one.
Okay, so usually it's not like each team member will go and create a Jira board.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? So if for your project, you would have a Jira board for your project that all your team members would have access to.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? But I believe that for the purpose of your internship, you would be using Azure DevOps for your projects, but we also want to make sure that you have knowledge of how Jira works as well. Do you get what I mean? Which is why we're taking you through the session. And also, I believe that you're going to be using your Jira board that you'll be creating for your career development work, anything that is related to your career development work. I believe you're going to be using your Jira board for that. So if you find your place in an organization where they use Jira, this would not be new to you. When you see your BAs creating epics and stories, or you need to jump in there to help them create epics and stories, you would already have been familiar with it right from this platform. So you would not struggle, which is why we're doing what we're doing now.
Yeah, which is really good. Thank you.
Thank you. Albert, please.
Thank you. How do you delete an epic? If maybe you started an epic and you don't want it anymore, because I've been looking through, we created quite a number of epics, and I was like, okay, there's no option how to edit that epic or to delete it. So is there a possibility of deleting the epic? I've been looking through the screen and I can't.
Yeah, no, I can delete the epic if I don't want the epic again. If I can delete my epic. So organization board, it depends on the admin rights you have. On this, because we're using this free Jira board now, I can delete it. But if it's within your organization and you want to delete anything, it depends on the admin and the admin rights that you've got. You might not be able to delete anything. They might not give you that right to delete anything. But if you do have the level of admin right to delete, if I want to delete this epic now, don't usually delete, but let me see. Yeah, if I go click on there and I come on here, I should have an option to delete. Yeah, and it's asking me, am I sure I want to delete this permanently from the board? I'm saying yes, and then that epic will be deleted. So let me go back to my backlog. And I shouldn't have that epic. Yeah, that's it, it's gone. And you would see that even the stories, the epic is gone. So these two stories were linked to that epic. So you see that they are no longer links to any epic again now. Yeah?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, cool, thank you. All right, so let's move on. Okay, I've just answered Albert. Okay, Albert, you can put your hands down. Okay, so that's how you create your Jira account, Jira project, epic stories, and work within your stories and link your stories to epics and assign your stories and all of that. So we've done all of that. Now, you would notice that it's saying Sprint 2 here. That's because, again, like I mentioned earlier on, I'd used this board before. So when I used it, it was Sprint 1. So what you should be getting on your view now is you have your backlog. You will probably be seeing Sprint 1. When you
Yes.
don't click on anything, but if you do click, yeah, you will probably see Sprint 1. So maybe someone will pick up on this and ask me a question. That's why I'm quickly highlighting this. But anyway, we've now created our stories. For the purpose of this session, I'm just going to link this to epics as well, so that we have a clean board. And I'm just going to do the drag and drop. Okay, so we've created our stories and all of that. Now let's go on our board. Now, what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing to do in progress. So forget about the QA review. I created that one. But what you would probably be saying is something like to do in progress done. Yeah, but I want to create more columns on my sprint board, on my active sprint board. Yeah, and that I want a column where you know, the QAs can have their tickets in that column to work in, which is why I have the QA review column. Yeah. Now, if I say maybe I want to create a column for BA, for example. So let me just go back to that and explain what I just did now. What I did was come on here to the 3 dots you have here, click on it and click on board settings. Yeah. Now I have this view where it's giving me the different options. So here I can create swim lanes. We won't go into swim lanes because you would usually use swim lanes. Maybe you're working on maybe not even multiple projects within your team, but maybe you have lots of different epics and you just want to create swim lanes for your different epics. You know, you can use that, but I won't even come up onto that at all right now, so I don't start confusing you. So you have quick filters, you have different options here within your boards to help you configure your board how you want it configured. I'll use column instead because that's what I wanted to show us here. So I want to create a column for, I've got to do in progress, QA review and done. So I want to create one for, say, the BAs. I'll click on add column. I'll click on BA. I can just put BA there. I will leave the category as in progress because whatever the QAs are working on, I want to leave the status as in progress. And then I'll click on add, and that should create a BA column for me. Yeah. So if I go back to my board, I should be able to see that on my board. Yeah, BA. Yeah. But in this instance, I want the BA column to be before the QA column. So I can always move that around within the board settings as well. And I can put my cursor there and just drag and drop. Yeah, just to rearrange it. Then I'll go back on my board and then it will rearrange it for me. Yeah, if I don't want that column there anymore, I don't want the BA column there, I can always come back here and all I need to do is just click on the bin to delete it and it will delete that for me. And I shouldn't see that on my board again. And that's that. Yeah. So that's how you would usually configure your board from the board settings. I'll go back to the backlog. So any questions? So, okay, so before we go on to starting a sprint and all of that, you also have on this panel here, you have the reports. Now, usually on Azure DevOps, I know you would usually have to go on, you will have to go on your dashboard to view your metrics. Yeah, I think I'm correct with that one. On Jira, you click on Jira, all you need to click on is reports. When you click on reports, it brings you to this view. So you will start getting familiar to all of this now that you're going into sprint 1. So don't worry about it. I'm not going to go into too much details about this anyway, but this is where you have your metrics on Jira. Yeah, if you click on reports, it brings you to your metrics. So you have your burn down chart, burn up chart, sprint report, velocity, CFD. You have all your reports here, release burn down, epic reports, and all of that. Epic burn down. You have all your metrics in this view on that report. Back to project. That's your report there. Let me go back to the backlog. So once all of this is done, you've created your epics, you've gone through your creation of your stories, and you've done everything you've assigned to the stories, and you want to start a sprint. Now, you would have your sprint 1 there for you. All you need to do is, a second. So I'm gonna move all of this back into the backlog. Bear with me 1 second. So now you're doing your, well, I don't think you'll really be doing sprint planning on Jira, but if you are, what you would find is you would have your sprint 1 and it would be empty because obviously you haven't committed any tickets in there. You haven't planned any ticket to go into sprint 1. So let's say that we're doing our backlog refinement now and we're prioritizing tickets that should go into the sprint. So let's say we're prioritizing this landing page ticket, and according to the prioritization, I would move them up. And this is what we're prioritizing. And we've done all our checks, we've done all our capacity checks and all of those good stuff that we usually do during sprint planning. We've done all of that. And now we've prioritized these tickets to go into sprint. Now, there are 2 ways that you can actually move those tickets into the sprint from this view. You can either hold down, drag and drop. Yeah, drag and drop. Or you can put your cursor on the ticket you want to move, right click, and say you want to put it, in this case, sprint 2, in your case, it will probably be sprint 1, and just click on the sprint you want to right click and just click. Yeah, so there are different ways to actually push those tickets into sprint. Right click, and there you go. So let's say that I now, maybe during sprint planning, we've done all of these. We've said these are the tickets we want to prioritize and all of that. And then the Scrum Master says, oh, actually, based on all the estimations and blah, 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 we can't take everything in. So based on priority, what is of lesser priority that we can bring out before we start the sprint? And then maybe the product owner goes, actually, let's bring out the email ticket for now. We don't have to take that into sprint. Again, you can either then drag and drop it back in the backlog, or you can also just right click on it and say send to top of the backlog, or you can put it back at the bottom of the backlog, whichever one, and it would remove that ticket from there and take it back into the backlog. Now we're ready to start a sprint. Obviously, my highs is on that ticket, and I'm seeing that it's not yet estimated, and we don't want to go into the sprint with a ticket that hasn't been estimated. So my highs would catch that, obviously, as a Scrum Master. Make sure we have that ticket estimated. And then we're all happy, no questions, everyone is happy, we're good to go, we want to start the sprint. Just start sprint. The moment you've pushed tickets into the backlog for sprint 2 or sprint 1 in your case, the start sprint icon would change color. So if I click on start sprint now, I would get this pop-up box. And what this is telling me is that check your start date, your sprint start date, check your sprint end date. 1 week sprint, 2 week sprint. Of course, how often do we run our sprints? Is it 2 weekly sprints? Is it 4 weekly sprints? Is it a monthly sprint? Is it 1 weekly sprint? Or do I want to customize it myself? But in this case, if I say 2 weeks, it's a 2 weekly sprint, it will then automatically give me the dates, the start date and the end date. Now, the other important bit on this pop-up box is the sprint goal. It's asking me for the sprint goal. It doesn't mean that you won't be able to start your sprint without that, but of course, again, best practice. We always advise best practice. You want to make sure that you have your sprint goal set before you start the sprint. Yeah, so for sprint goal, I could say initial discovery, and I'm just going to use this for the purpose of this session. It's not like I'm going to put in detailed stuff. We can say registration. We can say commence or complete students registration process or whatever. Or if you know, if you know that you're not completing it that sprint, you don't have to say complete. You can say commence the development of the student registration process. You can say commence development of login process, commence initial discovery. It does, if you know it's not that you're not going to complete it that sprint, you don't have to put complete. So just for the purpose of this session, I'm just going to put that in there. And we say that, okay, that these are our sprint goals. And then I can click on, I'll click on start. And what that has done is that would automatically start the sprint for me. And what it would do is all the tickets that we're committing into sprints will be in the to-do column. Now, if you look on this board, you would notice that I've said all the tickets we've committed into sprint should be in the to-do column. We have one ticket in the QA review column. Why do we have that there? It should be in the to-do column. The reason we have it there is only because, like I said, I had a sprint 1 on this board before. And when I completed that sprint, which is what you would get to see later on, we won't do that today. When I completed that sprint, there was a pop-up box that said, there are some issues within the sprint that has not been completed. Do I want to take them back into the next sprint? And I said, yes. So any issue or any story that you did not complete within the last sprint, if you decide to take it back into the next sprint and you start that next sprint, that story would automatically be in the column that it was before you completed the last sprint. In this case, this was in the QA review column before that last sprint was completed. And that is why starting this sprint and taking it back into the sprint, it's still keeping that same status of QA review. So that is how you move your tickets into sprint. That is how you start your sprint. That is how you configure your sprint board. Any questions? Nope. Okay. All right. So a couple of things that we said we would cover.
Sorry, can I ask a question, please?
No.
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah. So I was trying to create a column on the board, but it was saying I should assign just hold on, please. It was saying I should assign drag a status here to assign to this column, so it wasn't creating.
Do you want to share your screen? Let me see.
Can you hear me? Hey.
Yeah. Do you want to share your screen, please? Share your screen very quickly.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Columns and status. Okay.
So if I drag like this to this here, it would accept that here, but the done will go. I won't be able to.
Yeah, but no, but why do you want to drag it in there?
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So your done column is when you're saying that we've developed the story, we've tested the story, UAT has been done, this ticket is done. We want to move it to the done column. So if you hover on the QA review for me, let's see, and then hold down, drag it and drop it to in front of done.
Oh, in front of done. I don't get.
Yeah.
Like this.
Drop it. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, actually, I think it's because the status was not. Close that panel that says help on the side.
Okay.
So, unassigned status. Yeah. So you will see that. Click on. Go back to your settings where you created the column from.
Okay. So I'll just discard this then.
Leave this place. Let's look at it from the start again.
Okay. So yeah. So it says this one I have to go to configure board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it brings me here.
Okay. All right. So if you click on the plus sign.
Yeah, that's when I put the QA review. So now if I click, so it says that the same thing.
Let's drag the QA review. Let's no. Let's don't do that. So in progress. So when did you put it in progress? Because QA review is not done, it's still in progress. We're still working on it. So the status should still be in progress.
The way you said we should, you said that we should go to board, then go to column, then now create. So that's what I did.
So did you have the same view that I had?
No, not the same as yours. No.
You had the other view.
Yeah, the other view.
Okay, so what did you drag in progress? If you drag in progress into the QA review, what happens?
I should drag this in progress
No.
now.
The status in that one.
Oh, then the in progress would be disabled.
So that means we now have to, okay, so all right, 1 second. Let me check something on my side. If you stop sharing, let me check something on my side.
Okay.
All right, cool. 1 second. Is there any other questions while I do that? If anyone has any other question while I do that.
Yeah, I think me and myself and him, we have the same screen. So yeah, if you can help us with that.
Okay, cool. No worries. Any other question? Okay, 1 second. Okay, bear with me. One second, bear with me.
Can I show you my own screen? It looks, I think it looks different. It's not, I don't think I'm having the same issue, although I followed the same process it went through. Or let me just show it, maybe. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Is this, and then I can move like stuff like that.
Yeah, you can move your story across.
Yeah, so basically what I just did was, I went through that configure board earlier, but when I came out and I didn't find the QA review, I just did this. And then I created it, for example, let's say BA, for example, and I say enter, and then I can move maybe this, I don't know where it's supposed to be, maybe it's before this or that, and then the thing can then flow from the beginning or whatever it is I want to.
But you have the same view as the guy that just shared the screen now.
Yes, we have the same view.
Okay.
So that's why I shared this, maybe so you can look at it, and then if this is what it's supposed to be, I think it just needs to come here and then create the column instead of going, because I think the versions, like your version of the
one I was
Jira
saying
board,
is different.
Yeah, it's a bit different. So I think the way this is built, there are like some of those things have been shot in, the process has been shot in here, and you just maybe just click, they're more accessible. That's what I feel.
Okay, so show him what you've just done now again.
Yeah, so like so before now I had had 2 issues under that, and then I had in progress and I had done. So I just went, on that same
it's
board.
working now.
It's working now, yeah. So that's it.
So you created it from
here.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
from there, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, no, that's fine. I was actually going to now go through the process of the updating the status for each of the workflow, but it's good that you've shown us this one now, so that's fine. I don't have to go through that.
I'll stop sharing.
Detailed process again. Okay, cool. Thank you. Julius, please. Thanks, Abidemi. It shows that you're following us.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Julius.
Hello, yes. Just to let you know that not all of us can configure Jira for now. The reason is that I'm using the same screen that I'm watching you, so I can't configure Jira on the same screen. So what I tend to do is to listen, and later on, I will try to recreate exactly the same thing.
That's fine. So we have it recorded. So of course, yes, by all means, listen back to the recording and just follow the process, yeah?
Okay. Secondly, I have not been assigned Azure DevOps.
Okay, all right, cool. Let's just round up this session and then admin can help you with that, yeah?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. So yeah, thanks everyone. So we've been able to go through creating your own Jira board, walk you through some of the navigation on the menu, on the left navigation panel, creation of your epics, creation of stories and blogs, and you know, linking them to epics, you know, story pointing, assigning your stories and all of that, configuring the issues, configuring your board. I think we've been able to do all of that. Again, on the slide, you have the different steps that you can take in, you know, creating your own Jira and configuring your own Jira board. All the steps are on here as well on the slide for you to follow. And again, of course, we do have the recording. I hope that was helpful. Chi, you have your hands up.
Yes, Tolu, thank you very much. I just wanted to add that the last two people that shared their Jira board, we are using team managed account, so that the people who may want to follow this video, let them use company managed, so that they won't have the same issue of having a different viewer and start looking for who will help.
Yeah.
So if they want to follow exactly what you did, they should use company managed, so that they won't have to start struggling with team managed. It's not that it's wrong, but for them to follow exactly what you did.
Yeah, thanks for highlighting that, Chi. So yeah, so when you're creating your Jira board as well, you know where you had options of template to use. You would also see a pop-up on the screen as well that would, and I have it on the slide, on the steps that I just showed you on the slides now. You would have the option to select as well a team managed project or a company managed project. You know, it both will work. It's just that with a company managed project, you get a little bit more features, kind of, you know, it's a little bit more like an upgraded sort of version, but it's still the same thing that you will still get. Like you see that I just navigated from the two different boards, the two different views, and navigated from each of them to show you how you would create all of these epics and stories on both views. So basically the same, but it's just that the views are different. And with the company managed one as well, again, you know, you get a little bit more stuff, if that helps. But yeah, thanks for highlighting that, Chi. That was really helpful. Okay, any other questions? Hey, all right, so guys, that's me done for today. Please let's remember